Why did Silverwing attack both the Blacks and the Greens at Tumbleton? The real reason was not Silverwing. It was her rider, Ulf White. Silverwing first attacked the Blacks because Ulf had betrayed Rhaenyra. Ulf was a low-born dragon seed who had ridden Silverwing and fought for Rhaenyra, valuable land and higher status in return. But he felt Rhaenyra had not rewarded him enough or respected his position. That resentment eventually pushed him away from the Blacks. But betraying Rhaenyra did not mean Ulf became truly loyal to Aegon. To Ulf, neither side mattered as much as power, status, and reward. The Greens promised him land and a title, but at Tumbleton, his relationship with Aemond Hightower quickly fell apart after Aemond publicly humiliated him. There was another major problem. Ulf could not control Silverwing with the same skill and discipline as an experienced dragon rider, Daemon. Once the battlefield was covered by dragonfire, soldiers, and confusion, precise attacks became extremely difficult. Every time Silverwing died, breathed fire, troops from either side could be caught in the attack.
That is why Silverwing appeared to attack both sides at Tumbleton. Ulf had one of the most powerful weapons in Westeros, but his loyalty never fully belonged to either side. So was Silverwing really fighting both Blacks and the Green? Or was Ulf White only fighting for himself?
Why did Aegon and Aemond slowly go from brothers to rivals for the throne? Because the person each of them may have envied most was the other. Aegon never had to prove himself to be the older brother. He had the stronger claim, the higher position, and eventually the crown. Aemond, meanwhile, trained hard, studied, and claimed Vhagar. He still remained behind his brother. When they were younger, Aegon had the advantage of age and status. He often mocked Aemond for not having a dragon and treated him like an easy target. But once Aemond claimed Vhagar, their positions began to change. After the war began, one of the Greens' greatest sources of power was Aemond and Vhagar. That could only strengthen one thought in Aemond's mind: if the realm depends on me to protect it, why am I the one sitting on the throne? And that is what makes their conflict more than simple tension between brothers. Aemond slowly stops seeing Aegon as the older brother he must always follow. Aegon needs the crown to prove that he is king. Aemond wants to prove through his own ability that even without the crown, he is more capable of being king than Aegon. That is what makes their relationship so dangerous. Blood made them brothers, but the crown turned them into rivals. So if Aemond truly believes he is better suited to rule, does he still see Aegon as his brother, or as the final person standing between him and the throne? Why did no one in House Targaryen know about these 5 dragon eggs while Alys Rivers did? Rhaena Targaryen once lived at Harrenhal with Dreamfire, and it is possible that Dreamfire laid these eggs there. But if the eggs came from a Targaryen dragon, why were they never taken away? Because Harrenhal passed through years of war, fires, constant changes of ownership. Over time, the eggs may have disappeared from official Targaryen records. Alys Rivers existed on the other side of that information gap. As a bastard-born woman, she was never part of the royal inner circle, but she lived close to Harrenhal itself. She knew the castle, its hidden passages, and the old stories passed down inside its walls. She was also closely associated with strange visions and supernatural knowledge. The places nobles ignored were the same places Alys could reach. That may be how she discovered the egg, but the strangest part is when she chose to reveal them. Daemon once controlled Harrenhal, yet Alys never told him about the eggs. Instead, she later brought them before Aemon. Why? Because to Alys, the eggs may not have been weapons, they may have been leverage. 5 dragon eggs did not mean 5 dragons ready for war. They represented something much bigger, possibility that House Targaryen could one day rebuild its dragon legacy, and Alys kept that secret in her own hand. Only after Aemond lost Vhagar and reached one of the lowest points of his life did she finally open the chest. Seen this way, Alys may never have been trying to control the dragons themselves. She may have been trying to control the person who needed those eggs the most. Do you know why Vhagar left Aemond? After being cared for by Alys Rivers at Harrenhal, Aemond's injuries had nearly healed, but when he recovered, he discovered something shocking. Vhagar was gone, and according to some theories, this may not have been Vhagar's own decision. It is possible that Alys Rivers played a hidden role through the strange powers connected to Harrenhal. The strange part is that both Daemon and Aemond suffered serious injuries at Harrenhal. Yet, when Daemon was unconscious, Caraxes stayed by his side, but Vhagar disappeared from Aemon. Difference makes many fans question whether something else was happening. Harrenhal is a place surrounded by ancient secrets, old magic. Alice Rivers is known for her mysterious visions and unusual abilities. At the time, Aemond was in a very fragile state. He was badly injured, suffering from a high fever, and trapped in disturbing dreams after Helena's death. Some believe Alice used this opportunity to interfere with the bond between dragon and rider. By disrupting the connection between Aemond and Vhagar, she may have caused the ancient dragon to leave on its own. And without Vhagar, Aemond's enemies would have a much better chance of finding him and stopping him from returning to the... But the real goal may have been even bigger, taking away Aemond's greatest advantage. Without Vhagar, Aemond could not immediately return to the war. He was forced to remain at Harrenhal, where Alice Rivers could continue to influence his decision. So was Vhagar truly acting on her own, or was the ancient magic of Harrenhal the reason she left Aemond behind? Who is the mysterious woman with black paint around her eye?
Few viewers expected her to become one of the most dangerous human fighters in the story, but her first appearance was hard to forget. With a bow in hand, she helped bring down Criston Cole. She is Alysanne Blackwood, better known as Black Aly. Alysanne comes from House Blackwood, one of the oldest noble families in the Riverlands, and an important supporter of the Black during the Dance of the Dragon. Her most recognizable feature is the dark paint around her eye. It makes her stand out immediately, but it is far more than just an unusual visual detail. Black Aly is not simply a mysterious background character. She is an exceptional archer and a proven fighter who takes an active role in the war, but her story becomes even more interesting later. Near the end of the conflict, she meets Cregan Stark, the Lord of Winterfell. As the war reaches its final stage, Cregan leads the Northern army south. Black Aly eventually grows close to him, and the two later marry. That marriage makes Alysanne the Lady of Winterfell, so giving her an early and memorable appearance may be the show's way of setting up a character who could become much more important later. For now, most viewers remember her because of that striking black around her eye, but knowing where her story may lead, you still think that look is just a simple costume choice.
The Green Lantern ring's real power source isn't the lantern in his hand. So where does all that green energy actually come from? Many people assume the portable Green Lantern power battery is the original source, but it isn't. The true power source of the Green Lantern Corps is the central power battery, Oa, located at headquarters of the Guardians of the Universe. The green light presents willpower, one part of the emotional spectrum. The central power battery serves as the massive reservoir powers the Green Lantern Corps. So what does the smaller lantern-shaped battery actually do? It doesn't create the energy itself. Think of it more like a personal charging station connected to the larger Green Lantern power system. When a Green Lantern ring runs low on energy, the user places the ring near the personal power battery and recites the Green Lantern Oath. The ring is then recharged for continued use. So the system basically works like this: central power battery, personal power battery, power ring. That is why Oa is so important. If the central power battery is damaged, corrupt, or disrupted, the entire Green Lantern Corps face serious problems accessing its power. The ring may be the weapon, the lantern may be the charger. Oa's central power battery is of the entire system. So here's the bigger question. If a Green Lantern were stranded at the edge of the universe without a personal power battery, could they still find another way to recharge the ring?
The strongest member of Thanos' Black Order isn't the biggest one. Thanos' elite warriors are all dangerous, but who is actually the strongest? Black Dwarf, raw power. He is the physical powerhouse of the team. His strength and durability are incredible, but his fighting style is simple. He mainly relies on brute force and direct attacks. Proxima Midnight, combat skill. Proxima is an elite close-range fighter armed with a powerful spear. She is fast, aggressive, and especially dangerous in team battles. Corvus Glaive, the commander. Corvus is one of the Black Order's main battlefield leaders. In the comics, as long as his glaive survives, he can return from death. The MCU removed this ability, but kept his weapon extremely powerful. It was strong enough to pierce Vision's vibranium body and seriously weaken him. But Ebony Maw has the strongest overall abilities. His greatest weapon is telekinesis. Without relying on physical combat, Maw can control objects from a distance, manipulate metal and surrounding structures, and restrain powerful opponents. During the New York battle, he directly confronted Doctor Strange and prevented him from effectively using his magic. He also remained a threat while Iron Man and Spider-Man joined the fight. More importantly, Maw is not just a fighter. He is intelligent, calculating, and one of Thanos' most trusted followers. Black Dwarf has greater raw strength. Proxima has better close-range skills. Corvus is a dangerous commander, but when combining power, intelligence, and battlefield control, Ebony Maw is arguably the strongest member of the MCU Black Order. If all four fought each other, would Ebony Maw still win?